Hello guys. Today we're going to talk about more fundamentals thing for like the first thing that you have to know. So actually today we're going to talk about data types. So which data types it's like the basic thing that you have to know. So let's just start to we're going to talk about data types today. Which the first data type that we want to learn is actually int. So what is int? So int is data types that is used for variables that will store integer. So int is for integer, which integers always take up to like 4 bytes of memories. So actually this integer having like 4 bytes, and then 4 bytes is equal to like 32 bits, which we know because of this. This means that the range of the value that we can store is actually limited to 32 bits because they have like this 32 bits, right? We know that 32 bits is having a value of 1 or 0. So actually when you have like this 32 bits, you can store like 2 power of 32 different values. That integer range is like left part is actually minus 2 power of 31, and then this is 0, and then here we have 2 power of 31 minus 1. So as you can see that the different value that we have is actually here is going to 2 power of 31, and then here is going to 2 power 31 minus 1, which is 0 is actually 1 value, right? So if you sum it, it's going to be like 2 power of 32 different values, right? So that is integer. So integer, you can represent integer from minus 2 power of 31 until 2 power of 31 minus 1 using this data type. Other data types that we have actually right now is Boolean. So what is this? There's actually a data type that only contains true or false, where Boolean is stored in 1 byte. Okay, so it's just true or false for Boolean. So another data type that we have is actually char. So now what is char, right? Char is represent for a character. So you can say this is for character, which char is having a 1 byte also, like Boolean. So as we know that 1 byte is 8-bit, as I already mentioned it in the integer. So 1 byte is actually 8 bits, right? That means that character have a value of minus 1 to 8. This is 0, and then 1 to 7 here. Char is actually a character, right? But why is this a number? It's not a character. So as you see that computers see a character as a number. If you want to look at more about it, you can search it, which this ASCII. This is the represent of the character to a number. For example, that A is equal to 65, and then B is equal to 66, and then C is 67, and so on and so on. You have to also note that A in the uppercase and then A in lowercase has a different number. Make sure that you won't treat them as the same because they have a different number. Okay, another data types that actually we have is float. So what is float? With float, actually you can store floating point values here, which we know as a real number. If you want to calculate like using real numbers, you can use float here. So float is actually having 4 bytes also, which that means they also have 32 bits, right? But it's different with integer that can be like from minus 2 power of 31 until 2 power of 31 minus 1, right? For integer. So because of float is represent like the decimal part also, so it's a little bit, it's more like complicated to know the range of float right now. And the downside is actually float can be not that exact value. When you use float, we have a cons that we have to think about because we're going to face the issue of precision here. So you have to be careful about it when you code using float. And then another thing that we have double. So what is double? Double is also represent a floating point value, but actually a double store like not 4 bytes but 8 bytes. So it's going to store more like 64 bits, right? So it's going to store more values. We have like these two data types to represent like the decimal part, and then but be careful of the precision here. So I think that's the major data types that you have to know to start coding. But actually we have another things to know more, to dig in more about these data types. But yeah, I think that's all for today right now for data types part. I think that I'll have another videos that going to talk more about this fundamentals and basic to so we can have a deeper knowledge about this. So yeah, that's all for today. We was already talked about data types, so I hope that you guys understand about it and you guys actually know a little bit more about computer science, and then more interested in learning computer science. See you guys in another video. Bye bye.